Hi everyone, it's Monica, and welcome back to TaylorMade Cards for You. A few days ago, I shared this card on my social media outlets. I had a couple of new items that I was dying to try out, and this card was the result of those items. One of the items that I recently picked up was this die cut from Tim Holtz called Pipeline. And it's one of the Biggs die cuts from Sizzix, which means that you're able to die cut using thicker material. The other product that I recently picked up is from the Tattered Angels collection, and it's one of the naturally aged paint systems. This particular one is called Bare Metal, and it enables you to create a faux rust finish. And I thought rusty pipes would be a perfect item for a vintage inspired card. Now the kit itself comes with great instructions, so if this video doesn't make any sense, never fear, because you will get step-by-step instructions in the kit. Now when you get the kit, you're going to get 4 bottles. The first one is called White Hip, and then you're going to get 2 bottles of Glimmer Mist. The first one is Sugar Maple, and then the second one is Stone. And then finally you will get a bottle of your baseboard mist, and that's called Clay. Now you're going to want to have a roll of paper towels handy, along with a small cup of water so you can rinse off of your paintbrushes. Now because this is a big dies cut, you can use thicker paper. Now I used thick grunge board, but I would think you could easily use watercolor paper or any type of thick cardstock. I even sometimes use cereal boxes or the cardboard that comes on the back of your 12x12 pads. Anything really that has some thickness to it, because remember, you are going to be adding 4 coats. Now on this example, the paper was not really thick, but I was still able to get the rust effect. You can apply this technique on big as well as small items, and you can still get the same awesome results. I even tried it on a piece of wood because I wanted to see if I can get the effect. And as you can see, it did turn out pretty well. So this tells me I could probably do it on canvas or any sort of harder surface. Alright, so let's get down to the demonstration. Now before you start any of the layers, you're going to want to shake the bottles vigorously side to side. Some of the elements in these bottles do sink to the bottom, so you want to make sure you have a good mixture before you start. So you're going to want to begin with the hip white. Apply the paint covering the entire surface, making sure that the paint pools. Now this is really important, because when you heat it, you want it to create a bubble up effect. So as you can see, I am applying this white hip generously. Now while the white hip is still wet, you're going to want to take your heat tool and dry it really close to the surface. Remember, you want it to bubble up, so try to focus on the areas that have the pooling. So as you can see, the paint does tend to bubble up in the areas that had excess, and that is what you want. So don't be afraid to get that heating tool really close to your item that you're drawing, because the heat is what will create the bubble effect. Now I did place the die cut on a board to be able to demonstrate this a little easier for you. But if you're not using a board, you're going to want to use something like tweezers to hold your element, because your heating tool is going to get really hot and you don't want to burn your fingers. So as you can see, I got some great bubbles from my heating tool, and that's really what you want. Okay, so the next step is to use your baseboard clay. You're going to want to shake it up side to side like I had indicated before, and with a brush you're going to add this to the top where it bubbled up. Now you don't want to cover the entire surface. Again, you only want to focus on the area that bubbled up, because this is going to be the focal point of your rust. You have to remember, if you are looking at a rusty pipe, rust tends to grow outward from a spot. So that's what you're trying to create here. So once you've finished adding your clay, you're going to dry it again. Now for this demonstration, I am using my tweezers, because when I'm drying it, I want some of that liquid to actually run. So as I'm drying it, I am moving my pipe. I want some of my liquid to run, because that will give me a more realistic result. So don't be afraid to take your tweezers and move your die cut around, so that way some of that liquid will naturally move and again look more natural than staged. All right, so now that you have your second layer dried, for the third step, you're going to take your Sugar Maple Glimmer Mist. Now again, you're going to want to shake your bottle from side to side, and even though you have it on a mister, you're going to want to unscrew the top and use your paintbrush. Now this is where you're going to coat the entire piece. You're not going to just focus on the bubbled areas. You're going to actually paint the entire surface. And then once you have it completely covered, again, you're going to dry it. Now, when you start to dry it, you might think to yourself that this is the final step, because at this point, it looks realistic. I mean, I love this technique, and I just can't get over how realistic this rust looks. But after you dry it, you are going to have one more step. So hang in there, we're almost finished. And believe me, it's worth the wait. Okay, so for the last step, you're actually going to be spraying. You're not going to be painting. And whenever I use a spray bottle or a spray mister, I like to use this box that I created out of an old Kleenex box. This way it doesn't splatter all over my work area, and I can keep some of the excess mist contained. Now you just want to have a quick mist. You don't want to oversaturate it. And what you're doing here is you're just essentially covering up any of the areas that you might have missed when you were painting. I mean, keep in mind you are creating rust on a pipe. So not every area of the pipe may have rust on it. There might still be a little bit of metal showing, and that's what you're doing when you spray the Stone Glimmer Mist. So once you've sprayed your final layer, you're going to go ahead and dry it once again. And as far as the painting, you're finished. Now that's the final instructions on the actual kit. But I wanted to take it a step further. I wanted to have my edges a little bit darker, so I came in with my Black Soot Distress Crayon. Now you don't have to do this, but you're going to see that the effect is really cool. So all I did was take my Black Soot Crayon and I colored the edges. And then once I had some of the crayon on it, I just rubbed it in using my fingers. And once you've finished adding all of that black soot, you're going to have a nice rusty pipe. So I hope that you've enjoyed my tutorial and that it did make sense. If you do like to make vintage cards and if you like to create rust, I highly recommend this kit. It's amazing. I will leave links to the kit along with some of the items that I use to show you this technique. And some of these products may have affiliate links attached, which means if you purchase the item off of the link, I do get a small percentage at no extra cost to you. This is what helps me support my YouTube channel and bring you more tutorials. If you've enjoyed this video and this technique, I would sure appreciate a thumbs up. And feel free to leave a comment. I don't typically do technique videos, so I'd be interested to know in your thoughts on this video and what you thought worked and what you thought didn't work. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you head out. All right, everybody, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time.